Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to have all of you join us for our AI integration webinar today. Your participation and interest are greatly appreciated. To begin our webinar on a spiritual note, we have a special Tilawat Quran Pak. I am honored to introduce Ibad Malik, a talented grade 6 student from SOAR AMA campus, who will present the Tilawat.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد صدق الله العظيم.
Following the tilawat, we are privileged to have our esteemed founder and chairman, Mr. Usman Rishi, who would like to connect with our audience. His visionary leadership has been instrumental in shaping our journey, and we look forward to his insight today.
Hello everyone, welcome to SOAR STEM School's webinar on artificial intelligence. I can imagine you hearing a lot about artificial intelligence and a lot of things being talked about its impact, and is it real? How does it matter to me? And we wanted to discuss some of those things today in the webinar on what is the impact of artificial intelligence for all of us. If you really think about it, if I were to use an analogy, that if you were to equate computers to, say, a bicycle, and internet maybe then gets equated to a motorcycle, and smartphones and apps get equated to a car, I would equate artificial intelligence to a rocket. That's how fast moving and impactful it is going to be on everything that we would do. It's going to be next to impossible for anyone to escape the impact of artificial intelligence, AI, on what we do, how we do it, and where we do it. It's really important to understand that even if you think a year ago, people did not understand the impact of artificial intelligence on their daily lives. And here, even in Silicon Valley, major companies like Google were shaken to their core, where they had to internally do a code red to say that they wouldn't be around as a business unless they embraced artificial intelligence in each and everything of their products that they do. And that's how impactful this has been on the psychology of major companies, major players. Even they were shocked by what AI was able to do in such a short time. And it's even hard to imagine in 3 to 5 years the type of impact it's going to have on the job market, on people, the new jobs that will get created, jobs that will be lost. A lot of things are going to happen over the next 3 to 5 years. But the important thing is the people who see it coming and can start to prepare for it are the ones who are going to benefit the most from it. Because always you need a team of people to lead, and people who understand and embrace AI are going to be the ones who would be the next leaders in the technology wave that's coming down the pipe. Now, the real key thing to also understand is all of us have kids. And what is the impact on the kids and their future in the next decade or so? If you can imagine someone who's a middle schooler, I mean, they're going to enter the job market in 10 to 12 years. No one can imagine what kind of job they will be looking for and what they'll be working on. But the key is going to be that if they're able to think about problems, do problem solving, think outside the box, they are more likely to be successful than someone who's embracing in rote learning. And that's where STEM education also becomes a key element for the younger generation. Is STEM helps you think about the scientific method, it helps you think through a problem, analyze it. It's not about making everyone an engineer, it's about the thought process that you would go through. Even if you're a doctor, you're an artist, you're a programmer, you're doing engineering, you're building hardware, you're building cars, planes. It's all about problem solving and how you approach things. That's what STEM gives to you. And this is really, really important in terms of as a nation for Pakistan, that even in the private sector, even in the government, everywhere people need to be looking at artificial intelligence and how it can be embraced and brought into the current cycle that people are going through from the work perspective, from education, even the consumer perspective. It's the level of the change that's coming is profound. But any time there's a technology wave that comes in, if you went from computers to smartphones, there's always job addition that happens. New skills need to be developed, but the people who are trying to develop those skill sets are the ones who get impacted positively the most. And that's what I'm trying to encourage everyone on a regular basis, is that even for kids, even in your home, everyone should be using ChatGPT or Google Bard or Claude.ai, many of these tools out there, in order for you to really understand what this technology can do for you, how it can make you smarter, how it can make you make better decisions and choices. For employees, if you have a marketing campaign that you're about to do, it can go look at every marketing campaign in the world and give you an idea. You have the largest possible, the most complicated advisor in your pocket on your desktop to give you advice. For a student, you've got the world's best tutor. It's got AI has got all the knowledge in the world that's been put into it, and it can quickly answer questions for you. And that impact is going to be profound. It's going to be massive, and it's really important for people to embrace it head on in their daily lives, in anything that they're trying to do. And that's the key message that I wanted to share with everyone on the importance of AI. It's here, and the changes which are coming for all of us are wonderful. They're going to be huge changes, and embracing it, taking, really using it is going to be the differentiator for the you and the person that's going to struggle against it.
As we officially commence our webinar, I'm excited to introduce our two distinguished guest speakers who will be sharing their profound knowledge and expertise with us on AI integration in education. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Jazib and Mr. Ubez. Without further delay, I hand over the virtual stage to our first speaker, Mr. Jazib. Okay, thank you very much, Jazib sir. Thank you very much for joining us for our webinar today. I am Dr. Shazia Humayun, and with me is Shaista. Ms. Shaista is the Senior Director Academics, and I would like to welcome you formally and thank you for taking the time out. This is our first venture that we are doing, and we are very, motivated and enthusiastic about it. People like you are definitely, we look forward to sit down with you and have some time of you so that we can pick your brains about this, integration of AI that we are enthusiastically picking up at SourceStem. There are a couple of questions, sir. Before that, I would introduce you. So you are the CEO of Tintash, a software services studio working for the global clients. You are also the adjunct professor at LUMS, teaching courses across the schools of engineering, business, and education. You have your experience in developing AI-focused courses taught both in Pakistan and Silicon Valley. You hold a BS in electrical engineering from Stanford and an EdM in technology, innovation, and education from Harvard. I must say a very, very impressive portfolio, sir. We welcome you. And so the questions that I'm going to ask you, it is not only for our understanding on AI integration in education. We are holding this webinar specifically for our parent body. And, the more you are going to use the words which are easily digestible by the parent body, I'll be very grateful for that. So we start off with a generic question, sir, that what is AI and how it is making an impact in Pakistan education market? So if you could, start off with that.
Sure. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. So I'll start by talking a little bit about kind of what AI means. And then, as you asked, we'll talk about kind of its significance to the educational sector, particularly in Pakistan. So AI is a very broad term, and it's not an easy term to define. Computer scientists like to say it's a very loaded term because it has lots of implications. But generally speaking, AI is a very broad effort to get machines to have the abilities of humans in terms of exercising judgment, of deciding how to act in the future based on limited data and limited input, and in some ways to think like humans. Now, that's a loaded explanation because there's so much to it. Like, even our understanding of what humans think, how they think, and how you translate that into the computer realm is not very well defined at this point. It has a lot of philosophical implications, it has a lot of psychological implications, but AI is that entire broad effort to kind of codify what human intelligence is and to transfer it to certain agents. But the tip I'll give you is that when most people are talking about AI in practical terms, they actually mean something called machine learning. So in industry, you'll hear people say AI/ML, yani ke artificial intelligence and machine learning both. In some ways, they're interchangeable. In general conversation, they are. But the right way to think about it is that ML is a subset of AI. So AI is that broad effort to create this capacity. And ML is the part of AI that we already know works quite well. It's not the part that has philosophical and psychological considerations. It's just the mathematical part of AI. Okay, we use the data from the past to predict the future. So the parts of AI that work well, that we use day to day, whether it's ordering on Amazon, whether it's using Alexa, whether it's YouTube recommending something to us, Netflix recommending something to us, this is all AI, but this is the ML part of AI, the mathematical part of AI that predicts the future based on all the data we have of the past behavior. You can go a lot deeper into what ML is because there is specific ML for images, specific ML for video. But broadly speaking, when people talk about AI, they mean the part of AI that works well, that's already in use. That is basically ML or machine learning. In terms of its implications for the Pakistani educational market, let's first actually talk about the global educational market. Now, as AI is the buzzword for basically all industries, it is in education as well. If you're a fan of online education such as Khan Academy, they are basically investing heavily in something called Khan Mingo that you should check out. Using the tool itself is expensive. It's $20 per month subscription, but you can at least kind of get a sense for what it can do from the videos that are explaining it. So we're seeing these massive efforts right now to bring large-scale AI into the classroom to assist students, to tutor students, and to help teachers make curriculums. The implications for Pakistan are that although I don't see us using these paid tools right away, I do think the important thing is we need to educate our students on what AI is, how to use it ethically, how they are already interfacing with it in their lives on their phones and their devices, and how they'll continue to do so, and how a lot of future industries depend on it. So it does matter for teachers because they can use some of the free tools already to help make them curriculums and get tips on how to tutor and get feedback. And more of these capabilities will become accessible to them. But most of all, I think it needs to become a regular part of the curriculum, and that's what we need to think about.
Yeah, right. That leads me to ask you, sir, of all the tools that are available for the AI market and all, what would you suggest would be the, tools initially that should be introduced to the students, like, some of them, if you would like to recommend that to us, sir.
Sure. So at this point, the most common tools you would be using are basically the large language models. So ChatGPT,
Yeah.
the slightly older versions are free, the newer versions are paid, but even the older versions are very powerful. So using ChatGPT to get advice on how to make your curriculum, come up with engaging ways to teach your class. These are all questions that you can get ChatGPT to answer. You can get your students to use ChatGPT to get more information on a certain topic. With the paid versions of ChatGPT, with the most recent versions, you can help generate practice questions. You can get summaries of materials. So all of that is something that we, as students and faculty here, should be checking out. In addition to the large language models within generative AI, which is all of the AI which puts together stuff, which kind of makes creative stuff, whether it be writing or images or answers or whatever, there are several text to image tools such as Wall-E and Midjourney, that generate images based on text you write. And those are tools that are increasingly being used within schools to help brainstorm, help imagine things, help trigger creative writing prompts and stuff like that. So that's something we should be checking out. The exciting part about what Khan Mingo is doing and what the more advanced AI tools are trying to do is they're trying to use AI to identify where students are likely to make an error and to give them the right hints at the right time to solve those problems and identify those problems. So for example, I was playing around with a tool called Learny AI, and it basically keeps track of how you watch a video on a new math topic, and it tries to guide you through what the mistakes it thinks you will make and stuff like that. So these are the kind of tools that are coming out there. In the next year or so, there will be dozens of them. These are all worth trying out. And generally speaking, I think there is a big market for tools for tutoring, for giving feedback, for counseling, and just generally helping teachers come up with better lesson plans.
Can I ask a question? I just
Please,
wanted to ask you, Yazid, that as a parent, if I have apprehensions about my child using AI at the moment, and if a parent restricts their child from using it, what might be the implications for that particular child if they are not being allowed to even use one of the AI tools? So what advice would you give to a parent like that?
Sure. I mean, it's a very valid concern, but I tend to be a technology and AI optimist. I would say the specific tools I've mentioned have very little dangers for your children. The only danger for your child that I would point out, which is something academics are talking about, is, okay, for example, there's a tool in which you write text and it generates an image.
Yeah.
To guide children, okay, what is a real image and what is an imaginary image, that is something we need to educate children on, because if we have a tool like that, it has lots of practical applications. If I'm making a PowerPoint and I need certain images, that tool is very helpful to generate them.
So
If
to start, oh, sorry, please go ahead.
Oh, sure. So when I'm trying to guide a child, use this tool to generate images so that you can come up with a creative story, that on its own is a valid use case. But if the students uses it to do something overly creative that is in the realm of fantasy, having purple flying unicorns with yellow polka dots, and starts forgetting what is real and what is imagined, that has certain implications in the educational system. So those are precautions you should think about. But all the tools I've mentioned are generally safe for your child. The only implication is blurring reality, blurring truth, and that's a problem we have with all of AI, and some of that will probably be clarified further in this session.
Thank you so much, Abu.
So, Jazir sir, do you think that in the coming years, our teachers should be worried about, these tools taking their places in the classroom? This is a fear that the, parents would have in their minds, that now if they have to, work with the technology, what is the question of sending, the students to the schools and paying so much money there? If this can be like, what would you say about that?
Yeah, I would say that is not a concern for anyone at all. AI is really just here to supplement what you're doing in school. So it's like a tutor. It's like additional support, it's like a coach, and finding your weaknesses and giving you more practice. It is not in a position to replace a teacher anytime soon, probably not during our lifetimes. And even beyond that, I would think that it's playing a completely different role from what a teacher in an institution is playing. So I would say our goal really is to embrace its strengths and to also realize it has a lot of limitations. Not only does it give the wrong answers fairly often, because remember, it's just answering what it thinks the answer is based on how we've trained it, which is a very flawed way. It can only give certain limited answers. And what I tell a lot of my students and a lot of people I talk to about this is, Kiji, AI ki wajah se, there is no space for mediocrity left in the world. You can never say, I don't know the answer, because AI can give you a very basic answer. But if you think you can generate an essay through AI and give it to me and expect a 10 out of 10, you're very mistaken. It's a 5 out of 10 wala essay. So it will allow you to give me mediocre work without too much effort. But that only means the bar will go even higher on what we expect from students. So it is there to prevent us from being mediocre and always giving us some answer.
Yes.
But it is not producing the high quality, perfect answers people might be assuming.
Yeah, so what would you suggest to our teachers now that, as you say very correctly, the answer is there now. The baseline answer, the work is done by AI, right? What would you suggest to our teachers on their planning and preparation before they go into the classroom with this tool? How should they prepare themselves? Do you think that all the responsibility of working with AI is on the students, or our teachers, they have to equip themselves? What would you say that on that side?
Sure. I mean, I think AI is excellent for teachers in that when teachers are struggling to come up with ways to teach a concept or to think of a creative way to introduce a topic into the classroom, then AI is a great way to make that happen. So all of these AI tools, even the basic one, ChatGPT, which is not optimized for education, and then there are other tools like Khanmingo that are specifically for educational applications. They are all designed to guide you on how to make classes more interesting and to come up with different creative, multiple ways of teaching the same things. So as a teacher, what I want you to realize is this is not specific to education. Even when I talk to my friends in the biggest companies in the world, they all tell me when they feel stuck on their job, when they're trying to make a presentation for a client and they don't know what to do next, they actually go to ChatGPT to get ideas. And then they use those ideas to make a better presentation. It's the same for teachers, it's the same for students. It is a support, a crutch, but you have to use it in the best way to get the best possible answers. And the right way to think about it is also that teachers should realize that there will be some assignments you'll be giving in the classroom where you don't want students to use technology and they're not changed by the presence or absence of AI. But there are some open-ended assignments you want them to do. And the answers students will get from AI are not very different from the answers they were already getting from Google. So it's not that hard to tell that somebody has just selectively picked up stuff from Google and not put it into a coherent whole consistent with what they've learned in class. Same for ChatGPT and all these AI tools. If you just pick up something from them, it is unlikely it will satisfy what the expectations of the assignment are. So teachers should just be more cognizant of the capabilities and limitations of these AI tools.
Right. So, जैसे इसी से ही link करेंगे, what would be the ethical boundaries that you would want the teachers to, watch out while using these tools? Because we are laying the foundation of AI integration in our curriculum and all that. Talk to me about the ethical boundaries you would always want to a school system. Like, you people watch out on this, because you see this would then transfer to our student body. So, just 2, 3 points that you would say that, please, as your people are starting, watch out on these lines. Talk to me about that.
Sure, great question. And there are 2 points I'd like to make. Number one is, please realize that AI systems are extremely biased. In fact, one of my favorite sayings about AI is it basically amplifies our existing biases. Remember, AI is collecting its data from all the information online. The information online is not neutral. The information online has a lot of biases, a lot of prejudices based on race, gender, age, ethnicity, everything. Because remember, the information online is basically information compiled and propagated by a limited number of people like you and me, but maybe you and me are not representative of the population as a whole. To give you some examples, if you use an AI tool which generates images and you ask it to generate an image of a doctor, AI will give you an image of a man. It will just assume by default a doctor is a man. It will assume by default a nurse is a woman. The reason it does that is because AI is based on probabilities. It predicts what you're looking for based on the information online. And if a child starts using these tools and he sees कि doctor हमेशा male आता है and nurse is always female, he'll start believing that's reality. Doctor is always male and nurse is always female, which is why these AI systems are so limited right now. So we need to train people who use AI. It is just reinforcing information that's already online, which is limited and biased and in certain contexts. It's not reality. When we use online systems, we know it's a lot of people's different opinions, and we have kind of understood that not everything is necessarily true. With AI, we need to be even more careful because those biases are getting amplified and they sound like they're the truth, but they're actually not. So you have to think about that whenever you're using anything related to AI. The other thing is, what I've seen is when people use AI for answers or anything, especially what I'm seeing in the United States, is they often give credit to ChatGPT. I got this from ChatGPT because it's the same thing from ChatGPT. When you got a basis from ChatGPT and when you had to modify it, when you used another tool, this should be standard, because there will be lots of situations in your job and in your life where you're expected to use these tools, but you should be comfortable disclosing it just the same way people in academia and research disclose their sources and where they get information from.
Yes, that is the data privacy that I wanted to ask you next, but thank you very much for answering that. The other question before I ask Shaista to come in, Zahid sir, what would be the generic filters that you would suggest that, or Shazia, look in at your academics, make sure that because the children are very young, and no matter your teachers how much care they are going to take to design the assignments for the students, these are the filters that you must, or the barriers that you must erect, before you are allowing and totally open access of chat GPT and other tools to the students. आपके दिमाग में क्या आता है ऐसी चीज जो कि हम पेरेंट्स को भी बताएं कि जब ये घर में बच्चे काम करते हैं तो ये बैरियर या ये फिल्टर आप लगा के रखिए, इस चीज का ध्यान रखिए, because you see एक चीज
guidelines for them.
right, so what would be your suggestion on that, sir?
Sure. I mean, I wouldn't limit students and children in how they use the tool, but I would want to keep oversight and educate them on keeping that line between what is bias, what is real, what is unreal, because a lot of the answers you'll get from ChatGPT, a lot of the images generated by these tools, a lot of, even if you use the AI tools for mathematical analysis,
Right.
I have found they make mistakes, even in calculating simple things like average and standard deviation and stuff. And the reason for that is when we use an AI tool to do these calculations, we don't tell it all the steps. It's only an AI tool if it figures out what I'm trying to do there. And it often gets that wrong, because sometimes I just give it data and say, tell me what's useful about this data. And the first thing it might do as an AI tool is to think, I'll give you the average value of these. But sometimes it doesn't even understand मैंने किस चीज को average करना है. It's just assuming so. So I would want people to keep oversight on how kids are using these tools and realize, don't take it as an answer, just double check it. Right. And just use it as a resource the way you would use a secondary textbook or a tertiary textbook. KG, I also got some information from here, but ultimately the quality of that answer needs to be your responsibility. That's what we need to guide kids on. Okay, you can use these tools to get whatever info you want, but also understand how they compile their info. So you can think about its limitations, what is unreal, what is incorrect, what is inappropriate to use. So they need that oversight through their early schooling, the same way they need oversight in their other things.
Right, right. Faisal, would you like to ask anything?
I was just, since you have already established something key in your own area, I just would like to ask you, what are your predictions for AI, in the future? How quickly is it going to evolve in the future? Like it was released, OpenAI was released in February, and since then we have come a long way. What do we see AI, achieving in the next 6 months, let's say, or next 1 year? Do we need to be afraid of something, or we should be more open towards AI? What are your predictions about this?
Sure, I'm so glad you asked that. I'm an optimist in AI, so I see really exciting applications. If you look at what Khan Mingo can do, the application I'm most excited about is that it wants you to learn history by talking to a chatbot of a historical character. So putting it in a Pakistani context, we would ask kids to learn about Allama Iqbal and Quaid-e-Azam by having a chatbot that is trained with everything we know about them and getting the students to talk to them and debate them. And that is a creative way of learning, because right now, what do? We sit in class and we get told a bunch of facts about Quaid-e-Azam and Allama Iqbal. We memorize them and we repeat them for the exams. It never gets more creative than that.
Very true.
ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा class में थोड़ी सी एक limited सी discussion हो गई. It's not like, or maybe on Iqbal Day or Quaid-e-Azam's birthday, we do some activities related to that. But what I really liked about Khan Mingo was, so in the American context, they took like Washington and Abraham Lincoln, but they said, these are complex characters and you can only learn from them and about them if you feel like you're talking to them. And the way you phrase your questions and the way they respond and how you get their opinions on certain topics is what makes you excited about talking to them. So I could see a lot more stuff like that happening, that you learn interactively, you learn with more agency. So one example is this, that you can kind of debate and interact with these historical characters within whatever limitations technology gives. And remember, they're not designing these tools to say this is the only way to learn about them. They're just saying this is one creative way to get people more interested in how they might feel, how they might think. Similarly, I think right now without AI, we're kind of limited in the content and the scope and the range of things we can teach in the classroom, and we'll use AI tools to give students more breadth. You can study these topics on your own, you can generate tools on your own, you can figure out your specific weaknesses and do more practice on that. So I see more and more personalized education coming through AI, just as AI has given us more personalized shopping, more personalized purchasing of television programs through Netflix and stuff like that. So more and more of that is getting deeper into education as well.
Thank you so much.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Yes, so thank you very much, Azza. It was a pleasure to have you on board for our webinar, and inshallah in future also we are going to bother you again. So for have this type of sitting, Shasta, do you want to say something before I?
Ji, thank you so much, Azif, for joining us. And inshallah, in the future, I'm looking forward to have a more candid conversation. Just to learn more about Intash also, and what future plans you have for incorporating AI into your work system also. So let's look forward to that, inshallah. And thank
Yes.
you so much for taking out time for us. And we appreciate, much obliged. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure to be here. All the best.
Thank you very much. Right. Okay. Wes, thank you very much, Ji. Thank you very much for joining us on this webinar. Good to have you on board, sir. So I have the second guest with me, Mr. Wes Malik. He is an MPhil in software engineering from UMT Lahore, and he's serving as a deputy head of School of Computing at Roots IB. Yes.
Yes,
so
yes, yes.
right. So Wes, thank you very much. So I'm going to ask you questions in regards to the application of AI in the classroom. The earlier interview that we had on this webinar, we had a holistic picture of integration of AI in education in the educational market of Pakistan. So if you talk to me about what is AI to you and what is the impact of that AI application in education in Pakistan, focusing to the schools that we have. Thoda sa agar Wes, if you are going to start with that for us.
Sure. जो AI एक्चुअली होती है उस बहुत ही नेगेटिव टर्म में यूज होती है, बट मेरा पर्सपेक्टिव बहुत ही डिफरेंट है. AI एज ए मैं इसको ट्रीट करता हूँ मैं एज ए हेल्पिंग हैंड.
राइट.
उस एंड पे. सो अगर AI का पॉजिटिव इम्पैक्ट देखें तो वो ज़्यादा है इंडस्ट्री में, एकेडेमिया में और हमारी रियल लाइफ में, जो कि एक नेगेटिव रोल जिसको हम ज़्यादा हाईलाइट करते हैं. सो अल्टीमेटली गोल थोड़ा सा हमने इंडस्ट्री को अंडरस्टैंड करना है कि AI इंडस्ट्री एक्चुअली वर्क किस तरह कर रही है और AI एक्चुअली है क्या, परफॉर्म क्या कर रही होती है. सो AI एक्चुअली एक माइंड है, एक आर्टिफिशियल माइंड जो कि ट्राई कर रहा है कि हमारे जो एल्गोरिदम है, जो ह्यूमन एल्गोरिदम है, वो उसको कैच करे और उसी तरह का एक रिस्पॉन्स क्रिएट करे. सो अभी मैं एज ए AI को समझता हूँ कि एक बेबी है, जिस तरीके से एक बॉर्न बेबी होता है. सो अभी उसकी कोई लर्निंग नहीं हुई भी, उसको हमने फीड करना है, हमने उसको गाइड करना है थ्रू एल्गोरिदम. सो देन क्या होगा, उसको ट्रेन करने के बाद AI हमारी तरह रिस्पॉन्स करना शुरू कर देगा. सो एक मशीन, एक एल्गोरिदम बेसिकली क्या कर रहा होगा, एक ह्यूमन की तरह ट्रीट कर रहा होगा. ओके, अब ह्यूमन की तरह ट्रीट कर रहा है तो उसका बेसिक एम ये है कि ह्यूमन की जितनी भी हमारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज हैं, जितनी भी हमारा हार्ड वर्क है, जितना भी हमारे प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, उसको ओवरकम करे, उसको ओवरटेक नहीं करे. सो ये बेसिक एम है. सो उसमें ये होता है कि एज ए ह्यूमन हमारी नेचर है कि चीज़ें कंट्रोल्ड हों या उसकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग हो, तब हम उसको एक्सेप्ट करते हैं. ये एक अनफॉर्चुनेटली हमारा प्रॉब्लम है कि जब तक हमें एक चीज़ की कंप्लीटली अंडरस्टैंडिंग नहीं होती तब हम उसको एज ए उसको एक्सेप्ट नहीं करते, उसको अपने कल्चर का पार्ट नहीं बनाते. बट आई थिंक वेस्ट ने और जो हमारी एक इंटरनेशनल लॉबी है उसने इस चीज़ को एक्सेप्ट कर लिया है आज से तकरीबन 10 साल पहले ही कि AI जो है हमारी लाइफ में एज सच बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल करेगा और इवन हमारी डिसीजन मेकिंग में भी. सो मैं अगर डिसीजन मेकिंग की बात करूं तो हमारे डिसीजंस भी AI वो decision
So
making.
Wes, yes. So Wes, tell me if you say that this is how the future is going to be, Do you think that when the parents, they think that if we are going to introduce our children to AI, eventually the students are going to stop using their own brains and they are going to, swap their brains with the AI,
नहीं
like the tools
नहीं
that we have. What would you say to our
नहीं,
parent body for
ये
that?
एक नहीं, ये एक मिथ है, ऐसा कोई पॉसिबल नहीं होगा। इंटीग्रेशन होगी ब्रेन की, कंप्यूटर ब्रेन की, ह्यूमन ब्रेन की इंटीग्रेशन होगी। सो उसकी अडॉप्टेबिलिटी इतनी होगी कि हम डिपेंडेंट हो जाएंगे एआई पे। यस, ये होगा। जिस तरीके से हम अभी बहुत सारी लाइफ में बहुत सारी चीज़ों पे डिपेंड कर रहे हैं। सो अगर देखा जाए तो एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूट इवन हमारा टेक्नोलॉजी पे 80% रिलाई कर रहा है। अब इस एंड पे अगर मैं टेक्नोलॉजी को रिमूव कर दूं, सो कोई ऐसा इंस्टीट्यूट है जिसमें टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं है, तो मुझे नहीं लगता कोई पेरेंट्स उनको वहां पे इनरोल करेंगे। सो एक टेक टेक ओरिएंटेड स्कूल, टेक ओरिएंटेड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में उतना इंपॉर्टेंस है जितनी कि एक कन्वेंशनल एजुकेशन की उस टाइम पे उसकी इंटीग्रेशन की इंपॉर्टेंस है। तो हाँ, फ्यूचर में हमारे पास एआई जो है वो हमारी लाइफ के बहुत सारे डिसीजंस में बहुत ज्यादा हेल्प कर रहा होगा। सो लेट्स सपोज मैं उसकी एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ।
जी प्लीज।
मैंने एक फर्म स्टार्ट करना है, मैं कॉफी शॉप स्टार्ट करने लगा हूँ। सो अब उसमें क्या होगा, कॉफी शॉप से रिलेटेड जितनी भी रिक्वायरमेंट्स होंगी, जितनी भी फिजिबिलिटी होगी, या तो मैं ओवरऑल मैं रिसर्च करूंगा, मैं उसके बेस पे कॉस्ट फाइंड आउट करूंगा, मैं उसके बेस पे प्रोडक्ट फाइंड आउट करूंगा, देन मैं उसकी लोकेशन फाइंड आउट करूंगा, देन उसके बाद मैं उसकी मार्केटिंग करूंगा, देन उसके बाद वो प्रोडक्ट ओवरऑल रन होगी। अब ये सारा मैनुअल वर्क जो मेरा 6 मंथ का टाइम पीरियड था, वो सब का सब 6 डेज में मेरा कंप्लीट हो जाएगा। सो जो डेडिकेटेड मुझे टास्क, वो एआई मुझे बेसिकली क्या करेगा, वो मुझे शेयर कर देगा। ओके, आपसे रिलेटेड, आपकी प्रोफाइल से रिलेटेड, आपकी रिक्वायरमेंट से रिलेटेड आपके ये टास्क हैं, वो आपको शेयर हो जाएंगे। सो मेरी जो बिजनेस जो होगा, वो डोमेन होगी, वो इंक्रीज हो जाएगी एआई की बेस पे। इसी एंड से जितनी हमारी स्टूडेंट के एंड से अगर मैं ये कहता हूँ कि लेट्स सपोज आप, जिस तरह पहले यूज होता था, पहले हम मैनुअल बेसिकली कैलकुलेशन करते थे। सो मैनुअल कैलकुलेशन किस तरह होती है, कोई भी इन एंड आउट हो रहा है तो हम उसकी प्रॉपर्ली इन एंड आउट हम ऐड कर रहे हैं, देन उसके बाद कोई स्टॉक ऐड हो रहा है, देन रिमूव हो रहा है, देन वेयर हाउस में ऐड हो रहा है, मतलब एक पूरा का पूरा पहले होता था, रजिस्टर्ड पे होता था, पेजेस पे होता था। लेकिन हमने अब उसको अडॉप्ट सिस्टम में क्यों कर लिया? क्वेश्चन ये है ना, और हम उसको क्यों एक्सेप्ट कर रहे हैं? सो ओवरऑल जितनी भी आपकी मैनुअल कैलकुलेशन है, वो इस टाइम कैलकुलेटेड टूल्स यूज हो रहे हैं, ऑटोमेटेड टूल्स यूज हो रहे हैं। वो अगर हम उसको आज अडॉप्ट कर रहे हैं, तो एआई को हम भी अडॉप्ट कर लेंगे। सो एआई भी हमें उसको अडॉप्ट करना पड़ेगा। हाँ, जब इवन मैं टू बी ऑनेस्ट, जब स्टार्ट में 2002 और 3 में यूट्यूब आया था, पाकिस्तान में लॉन्च आया था, तो तब सबको ये प्रॉब्लम था कि यूट्यूब में क्योंकि नेगेटिव कंटेंट्स बहुत ज्यादा है, तो इस तरह से यूट्यूब जो है हम यूज नहीं करेंगे। बट अल्टीमेटली हमने उसको अडॉप्ट कर लिया, और इस टाइम पे कितना मतलब सोर्स ऑफ इनकम है कितने सारे लोगों का, जो कि इस टाइम प्रोवाइड हो रहा है। इवन लर्निंग जो है प्लेटफॉर्म एज ए ट्रीट हो रहा है। और यूट्यूब के एंड से हमारे पास डिफरेंट फर्म्स हैं जो कि अर्निंग कर रही होती हैं, जो कि एड्स का हमारा स्टार्ट हो गया। अब वो अडॉप्ट इस तरह हो गया कि यूट्यूब को हम बैन नहीं कर सकते। सो एआई जो अभी इस टाइम पे करंटली है, एआई इस स्टेज पे है कि जो वो वही स्टेज है जो कि यूट्यूब का स्टार्ट वाला फेज है।
राइट।
अभी हमें ये फील हो रहा है कि एआई को हमने अडॉप्ट करना है, नहीं करना, क्योंकि उसका नेगेटिव एस्पेक्ट ये होगा कि वो हमारी सिक्योरिटी ब्रीच कर रहा है, हमारी पर्सनल इंफॉर्मेशन वो कलेक्ट कर रहा है, और उसकी बेस पे कुछ हमें कोई एक सेल्फ जनरेटेड इन्वायरमेंट क्रिएट कर देता है, और उसकी बेस पे डिसीजन इस तरह की ऑप्शन दे देता है कि हम उसको डिसीजन, हमारे पास अथॉरिटी नहीं रहती। तो माइट भी आपको इसका पॉजिटिव इम्पैक्ट ज्यादा फील होगा इन फ्यूचर 5-6 ईयर्स में, फिर आप उसको अडॉप्ट करना शुरू कर दोगे। तो यस, नेगेटिव ऐसा होगा, बट पॉजिटिव ज्यादा होगा, और वो
राइट।
फिर आप
वैसे
उसको
अगर
अडॉप्ट करना
अगर आप
पड़ेगा।
क्लासरूम के अंदर अगर हम लेकर आते हैं अपने आप को, आपके ख्याल में एआई के इस्तेमाल से टीचर्स वुड, इफ द टीचर्स अप्लाई दिस टूल करेक्टली, would they be able to engage their students more meaningfully, or do you think that if they bring in AI, जो कि parents की एक बहुत बड़ी inhibition इसके ऊपर है at this point in time, they think that maybe the students, they are going to start relying more on to this, which is going to, take them away from their own development of the creativity and innovation, and the teachers are going to rely on paki pakai cheezein. So is AI going to replace the teacher in future in a classroom? Do you think is tarah se hai koi baat? What would you like
यस,
to
रिप्लेस
suggest
कर
our
देगी।
teachers
यस
how
एंड
to
नो है
tactfully
बेसिकली।
use it?
यस एंड नो है, रिप्लेस हो भी जाएगा और रिप्लेस नहीं भी होगा। रिप्लेस हो भी चुका है अभी इस टाइम पे। सो बहुत सारे ऐसे इंस्टीट्यूट हैं जिसमें रोबोट्स एज ए टीचर परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं, एज ए टीचिंग कर रहे हैं। सो इसमें कोई नहीं है कोई सच कोई ओके ये रिप्लेसमेंट हो गई, रिप्लेसमेंट नहीं हुई, बेसिकली इन्हांसमेंट हुई है हमारी। इन्हांसमेंट किस एंड से हुई है कि सो सेम जो ट्यूटर और जो वो बार बार एक सेशन रिपीट कर रहा है और वो डेकेड से रिपीट कर रहा है,
राइट,
तो उनका एक्यूरेसी रेट मैं कह देता हूँ 98% है। लेट्स सपोज वो 98% वो क्या करते हैं, एक्यूरेटली लेक्चर डिलीवर कर रहे हैं। बट हम इसको देखते हैं, हम आ जाते हैं किसी थर्ड वर्ल्ड कंट्री में और उसमें किसी थर्ड वर्ल्ड सिटी में आ जाते हैं या किसी गांव में आ जाते हैं। सो वहां का जो टीचर होगा और जो एक और टीचर है जिसको बार बार वो कर रहा है, उसकी एक्यूरेसी डिफरेंस होगी, वो बहुत डिफरेंस होगी। इवन कोई न्यूयॉर्क का टीचर है और पाकिस्तान का टीचर है, उनमें डिफरेंस होगा। बट पाकिस्तान के लाहौर का टीचर कोयटा के किसी एक मेन जगह का हो कोई ट्यूटर, वो बहुत डिफरेंट होगा। तो इन तीनों की एक्यूरेसी बहुत डिफरेंट है।
राइट,
तो यहाँ पे अगर मैं मशीन ले आता हूँ, बॉट ले आता हूँ और वही सेम पैटर्न से टीच कर रहा है स्टूडेंट को, तो वो सेम परफॉर्म कर रहा है हर इन्वायरमेंट में। हाँ, अब बट ये
स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन,
होगा
स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन आपके,
स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन, यस। सो बट इसमें होगा ये कि जो आपके फंडामेंटल्स हैं
जी,
वो टीच बॉट्स करेंगे, एआई करेंगे फ्यूचर में। यस, ये होगा। सो उसके बाद लेट्स सपोज बेसिक कैलकुलेशन है आपकी, बेसिक फंडामेंटल्स आपकी, कुछ प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग टेक्निक्स हैं, देन आपके पास कुछ गेमिंग हैं, कुछ लर्निंग एल्गोरिथम्स हैं, वो बॉट्स ही करेंगे फ्यूचर में। बट उसके आगे जो रिसर्च वर्क होगा वो टीचर कर रहे हैं। उसके लिए हमें ह्यूमन हेल्प चाहिए होगी, ह्यूमन माइंड की, क्योंकि ह्यूमन माइंड उस न्यू सेट को अडॉप्ट कर लेता है विद टाइम। एआई जो है उसको अडॉप्ट करने के लिए भी एल्गोरिदम रिक्वायर्ड होता है। सो अडॉप्टेबिलिटी की भी पैरामीटर्स होते हैं। सो उस पैरामीटर्स की बेस पे क्या होगा कि वो उसकी लर्निंग कर होगा। सो पहले मतलब हायर अथॉरिटी पे मशीन नहीं होंगी, ह्यूमंस होंगे। सो ह्यूमन लर्निंग करेंगे, वो लर्निंग एल्गोरिदम प्लेस कर देंगे लोअर सेक्शन में, जो कि
राइट,
बॉट्स उसको कर रहे होंगे। सो इससे हमारा वर्कलोड बहुत कम हो जाएगा।
राइट,
सो हमारी एफर्ट बहुत कम, इवन आपके लिए हायरिंग बहुत ईजी हो जाएगी फ्यूचर में। तो आपको एक ओवरऑल आइडिया हो जाएगा, ओके इसकी एक्यूरेसी रेट ये है और ये इस एंड से बॉट इस तरीके से वर्क कर रहा है और ये परफेक्टली करोगे। एक ह्यूमन नहीं करोगे, ह्यूमन बिहेवियर चेंज हो रहा है विद टाइम, इमोशंस चेंज हो रहे हैं। सो एक
राइट,
बॉट का चेंज नहीं हो रहा, तो वो उस तरीके से परफॉर्म करोगे। यस, उसकी मॉनिटरिंग बॉडी ह्यूमन के पास ही होगी, वो उसका
right.
कंट्रोल होगा।
So, Wes, tell me, if we take care of all these things that you are kindly sharing with us at the school level, how would you like to suggest as a teacher, as a practitioner, that we, educate the parent body, that once the children, they go out of the environment of the school and the classroom where the teachers are being supported by AI, घर जब ये बच्चे जाते हैं, आपका क्या एज अ एजुकेशनिस्ट आप क्या मशवरा देंगे पेरेंट्स को, that how they should handle their children who were supported in the schools? तो आप घर में कैसी एनवायरनमेंट दें? और अगर जो हमारे पेरेंट्स जो कि टेक सेवी नहीं है, सो वो कितना अपने आप को लेके जाएं आगे और कितना बच्चों के ऊपर छोड़ दें? आपके पास अपने एक्सपीरियंस से आप क्या शेयर करेंगे यहाँ पे हमारे साथ?
तो बहुत प्रॉब्लम है इस ये वो डोमेन है जिसको हम शायद ओवरकम ना कर सकें। पाकिस्तान में ये एक प्रॉब्लम है कि हमारे हमसे जो पहले जनरेशन है, सो अभी जेन जी है, सो इससे पहले जो जनरेशन है वो वो बेसिकली टेक ओरिएंटेड नहीं है। ये एक प्रॉब्लम है। और क्योंकि अब वो इस स्टेज पे आ गए हैं, 30s 40s और 50s में आ गए हैं, सो वो उनका पर्सपेक्टिव वो ओल्ड स्कूल वाला ही है। क्योंकि शिफ्ट देखें, पहले शिफ्ट होता था टेक्नोलॉजी का डेकेड्स बाद, अब शिफ्ट होता है 6 मंथ के बाद।
एग्रीड,
ठीक है।
एग्रीड,
सो वो डेकेड जो चेंज हो रहा था, उनका लास्ट टाइम का जो डेकेड चेंज हुआ है, तो वो एक्सपेक्ट करें नेक्स्ट डेकेड में चेंज होना चाहिए, बट वो हर 6 मंथ बाद, ईयर बाद चेंज हो रहा है। तो वही सेम पैटर्न उनको, लर्निंग जितनी स्टूडेंट की लर्निंग है उससे डबल लर्निंग पेरेंट्स की लर्निंग है रिक्वायर्ड। स्टेम एजुकेशन में आपका मैं इवन सेम एंड पे मेरा ये प्रपोज्ड है कि पेरेंट्स की सेम ही लर्निंग होनी चाहिए जिस तरीके से स्टूडेंट्स की हो रही है।
एग्रीड,
तब जाके एक इन्वायरमेंट सेट होगा स्टूडेंट के एंड पे, स्कूल का और एक उनके घर का इन्वायरमेंट सेट होगा, तब जाके स्टूडेंट अपनी लर्निंग करेगा। नहीं, इससे प्रॉब्लम क्या होगा, ये वेस्ट में हो रहा है, वेस्ट इसको अडॉप्ट कर चुका है, लर्निंग उनके एंड से हो रही है और अडॉप्टेबिलिटी, और प्लस उन्होंने इंस्टीट्यूट को ओवर किया हुआ है कि वो ग्रूमिंग कर रहे हैं। यहाँ पे अगर इस तरीके से ना हुआ तो स्टूडेंट के एंड से क्या होगा, वो एक कैंडिडेट कभी अपनी एक एक पैटर्न तक लर्निंग करे, उसके बाद उसको अडॉप्ट नहीं कर पाएगा, क्योंकि उसको घर से ही वो मोटिवेशन नहीं मिल रही, ना वो सपोर्ट मिल रही होती है। इवन हमारे पेरेंट्स कह दें, बहुत अच्छा इन्वायरमेंट है, उन्होंने हमें बहुत अच्छे स्कूल्स में हमें इनरोल किया हुआ है, बट इंटरनली जो हमारा उनकी अपनी लर्निंग का जो है वो स्टॉप हुआ हुआ है एलिमेंट। लर्निंग उनके एंड से जीरो है, वो एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे होते हैं टीचर के एंड से, इंस्टीट्यूट के एंड से, स्टूडेंट के एंड से, और वो इन्वायरमेंट वो प्रोवाइड नहीं कर रहे थे। तो मैं पेरेंट्स को तो ये बहुत ज्यादा फेस कर रहा होता हूँ। और असेसमेंट जो है वो एक एंड होने वाला है, हमारा जो ये असेसमेंट क्राइटेरिया जो हमारा ग्रेडिंग सिस्टम है ये एंड होने वाला है। और ये ग्रेडिंग क्योंकि ये भी एक हमें बाउंड कर रहा है कि हम उस प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट जो आ रही होती है हमारे पास, प्रॉब्लम टेक्निक्स, उसको हम नहीं करते, हम एक जस्ट एक कोई एक रैंडम प्रॉब्लम होती है उसी को ट्राई कर रहे होते हैं कि इसको सॉल्व करने की कोशिश करें। मतलब एक एक डॉक्यूमेंटेड चीज को सॉल्व कर रहे हैं, बट हमारे पास कोई न्यू आ रही है उसको हम कोई सॉल्व नहीं कर रहे। तो एक पैटर्न जो हमारे पास बन रहा है, वो फ्रेमवर्क बन रहा है, हम उसी को फॉलो कर रहे हैं, एक न्यू फॉलो नहीं हो रहा। जिस तरीके से एग्जाम बेस एक है पैटर्न, हम उसको असेसमेंट बेस नहीं बना रहे, ठीक है। इवन हर डोमेन डिफरेंटली बिहेव करने लगा है, हर सब्जेक्ट डिफरेंटली बिहेव करने लगा है, बट उसका असेसमेंट कैसे सेम हो सकता है सबका, वो तो डिफरेंटली बिहेव होना चाहिए। तो ये चेंज होने लगा है। प्लस पेरेंट्स के एंड से ये होगा कि उनकी अडॉप्टेबिलिटी सेम होनी चाहिए जितनी टीचर स्टूडेंट्स को प्रोवाइड कर रहा है। सो उनका लर्निंग एनवायरनमेंट अगर वो सेम होगा तो वो तब जाके कम्पिटिट कर सकते हैं मार्केट में, और वो इवॉल्व कर सकते हैं, वरना ये बहुत बड़ा एक प्रॉब्लम है।
I think, Wes, you would agree with me when I would say that that lands more responsibility on the shoulders of the teachers, because the teachers, they have to ensure that the students, the time that they are spending in the school, they are that much clearer on the usage of AI and its integration, that when they go home, even if they don't get the support, that kind of support from their parents, their environment is such that they are able to, like, stay engaged with the AI, or they look at the application of that in the real life. But the concept in the school are made in such a clear way that they understand the application of that. You see, that lands the teacher into like more sphere of responsibility. I would say that. I would say that. राइट, थैंक यू वेरी मच जी, बहुत क्लियर आपने बताया। आप मुझसे कुछ शेयर करेंगे अपने एक्सपीरियंस के उस पे, व्हाट इज वन सक्सेस स्टोरी ऑफ इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ एआई दैट यू हैव सीन रिसेंटली व्हाइल यू आर लाइक बिकॉज यू आर अ प्रैक्टिशनर, where you would say that आपको मजा आया कि वो AI से आपको हेल्प हुआ, and one area where you think, Wes, that you feel कि AI आपको सपोर्ट नहीं करता है, that gives you frustration, but then you think कि ये नई नई बात है, ये इंशाल्लाह हो जाएगा सही। One area where you are happy and one area which gives you frustration.
So मैं अभी जो मेरी लास्ट क्लास है मैं उसकी एग्जांपल देता हूँ। So अब मैंने वो आपको वो बात की, जो शिफ्ट आया वो 6 मंथ का आया। So इससे पहले जो मेरी टीचिंग थी वो एक आप ये कह लें कि कन्वेंशनल तो नहीं थी, मॉडर्न थी, बट वो मॉडर्न एक टाइम फ्रेम में थी। सो वो टाइम फ्रेम लेट्स सपोज 4 मंथ का टाइम फ्रेम था। सो वो जो मेरी टीचिंग थी मैंने उसको 4 मंथ के टाइम फ्रेम में डिवाइड किया हुआ था, और मैं उसके अकॉर्डिंगली उसको डिलीवर कर रहा था। बट अब समर के टाइम में मैंने उसकी कुछ लर्निंग की और उसमें कुछ इंटीग्रेशन की एआई की। ये मेरा सेकेंड वीक है इस मॉड्यूल का, और जो मैंने वो लास्ट 4 मंथ में डिलीवर करना था वो मैं सेकेंड वीक में डिलीवर कर गया हूँ एआई की इंटीग्रेशन से। तो अब मैं यहाँ पे फ्री हूँ। ओके, सो जो मैंने एक एप्लीकेशन डेवलप करनी थी, जो स्टूडेंट को डिजाइन करवानी थी, जो जिसमें 4 मंथ टाइम पीरियड रिक्वायर्ड था, वो मैंने 2 वीक्स में कर लिया है, और स्टूडेंट को एआई की इंटीग्रेशन से उनको बता दिया कि ये देखें इस एंड से ये पैरामीटर्स हैं और ये टूल्स हैं, और इस बेस पे हमारी ये एप्लीकेशन फुल फ्लैश डेवलप हो जाएगी। ओके, ये हो गया। अब नेक्स्ट जो आएगा स्टेज, उस पर आपकी और मेरी लर्निंग है, ठीक है। सो अब मेरे लिए एक प्रॉब्लम ये है कि मैं स्टूडेंट को शेयर कर दिया, मुझे एआई की इंटीग्रेशन तो कर ली, अब एआई की जो फर्दर इंप्रूवमेंट है, इन्हांसमेंट है, उसके लिए आपके और मेरी हम क्लास को एज ए क्या परफॉर्म करते हैं कि एक एज ए मतलब काइंड ऑफ मैं स्टूडेंट बिहेव करूंगा, आप टीचर बिहेव करें। तो अब हमने शिफ्ट कर दिया, और उसी बेस पे अब हम जो जो प्रॉब्लम मुझे फेस आ रहे हैं उसको मैं डॉक्यूमेंटेड बना रहा हूँ, उसको मैं रिटर्न फॉर्म में लेता आ रहा हूँ। सो मेरे हर क्लास के एंड पे एक रिटर्न की पॉइंट्स होते हैं जो कि मैं आगे पार्टनर यूनिवर्सिटीज के साथ जो भी इंस्टीट्यूट है उनके साथ शेयर कर देता हूँ, और वो फिर नेक्स्ट मॉड्यूल में उसमें चेंजेस लेके आते हैं। सो यस, अभी प्रॉब्लम ये आ रहा है कि और इवन मैं आपको बताऊं, आपको भी नहीं आइडिया होगा, जो सिस्टम आप यूज कर रहे हैं इस टाइम प्रॉपर मॉनिटर हो रहा है कि इस सिस्टम में कोई प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है तो आप एज ए क्वालिटी एश्योरेंस शेयर कर रहे हैं जिन्होंने ये सॉफ्टवेयर डिजाइन किया है। सो माइक्रोसॉफ्ट ने विंडोज क्रिएट की हुई है, वो आपको आपको शेयर की हुई है। आपके सिस्टम में कोई प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है तो सिस्टम ऑटोमेटिकली क्या कर रहा है,
और
प्रॉब्लम
डेटा कलेक्ट हो रहा है।
कलेक्ट हो रहा है, और जितने मिलियंस यूजर है उन सबका डाटा कलेक्ट हो रहा है उन क्वालिटी डिपार्टमेंट में, और वो उसको जितना हो सकता है रिफाइन। और देखे ना, जो अब जब अब अपडेट होता है तो आपको कहते हैं कि हमें फ्री अपडेट क्यों मिल रहा होता है, वो बेसिकली आपको बीटा वर्जन मिलता है, ठीक है, और वो बीटा वर्जन चेंज होता रहता है, फिर आपको एक रिफाइन टाइप की आपको एक एप्लीकेशन मिल जाती है, एंड देन फिर वो पेड होती है। सेम इसी एंड पे एआई क्या कर रहा है, एआई अभी आपको फ्री हैंड दे रहा है कि आप उसको अडॉप्ट करें और इसमें जितने चेंजेस आ रहे हैं आप वो हमारे साथ शेयर करें।
शेयर करें, यस।
तो अभी तो जस्ट ये समझे कि एआई हमें बीटा वर्जन प्रोवाइड कर, यस, उसमें मेरा प्रीवियसली वर्क जो है वर्कलोड बहुत कम हुआ है, बट अब उसके लिए मुझे अब एक न्यू रिसर्च होगी है मेरे, अब ये कि इसको मैं इसको इनहांस किस तरह करूँ उस सब्जेक्ट को, उसमें मैक्सिमम चीजें क्या करूँ। सो वो उसमें मल्टी डायमेंशनल जो डोमेन्स है वो क्रिएट हो रही हैं। एक जो मैं लास्ट 10 ईयर से एक टीचर्स पढ़ा रहा था, 2-3 और सब्जेक्ट्स वो थे सेम, अब एआई के बेस पे मेरी रिसर्च एनहांस हो रही है और मैं लर्निंग, मेरा एलिमेंट एक्टिव हो गया। वो मैं अब कह रहा हूँ ओके मैंने अब लर्निंग करनी है, एआई की कुछ न्यू टेक्निक्स ऐड करनी है। और डेली आपको मैं बता दूं अराउंड 25,000 एप्लीकेशन लाइव होती हैं डेली। सो डेली अगर 25,000 एप्लीकेशन लाइव हो रही हैं तो आपकी डेली 25,000 एप्लीकेशन एआई से इंटीग्रेट भी होंगी। सो ये
क्योंकि
रिक्वायर्ड
आप देखिए वैस के हम अभी सिर्फ इसी डिबेट में है एआई को यूज करना है कि नहीं यूज करना।
हाँ
मेरे ख्याल में द टाइम इज getting out of our hands if we are
आउट
not
ऑफ
going to capacity
एग्जैक्टली
build our teachers, because this, you see, tools like chat gpt and these other tools, they are there to provide the scaffolding to you. अगर आप अपनी scaffolding जो है वो नहीं ले रहे तो इसमें आप जितना पीछे रह जाएंगे, वो सही उस्मान साहब कह रहे थे, यू आर जस्ट लूजिंग द टाइम ऑन दिस। आप अभी यही डिसाइड नहीं कर पा रहे, जबकि आपको ये इतना भी आपको देता है कि अगर आपके पास रिसोर्सेज लिमिटेड हैं, उन लिमिटेड रिसोर्सेज में रह के हाउ यू कैन लाइक मूव फॉरवर्ड विद द ऑब्जेक्टिव दैट यू हैव। सो आई थिंक बीइंग एन एजुकेशनिस्ट एंड बीइंग अ टीचर ट्रेनर, मुझे तो द रोल ऑफ द टीचर यहाँ पे टीचर की कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग और एम्पावरमेंट ऑन एआई, आई थिंक वी नीड टू डबल अप ऑन दैट, कि इतना ज्यादा वो जल्दी करने की जरूरत है, क्योंकि बच्चे जो हैं वो फिर भी निकल जाएंगे आगे से, बिकॉज द गैजेट इज देयर ऑल द टाइम विद देम, राइट? दोज हु आर उसके ऊपर कर रहे हैं काम, उसको सब देख रहे हैं, जैसे बच्चे हैं वो तो कहाँ के कहाँ निकल गए हैं, ये टीचर्स हैं, क्योंकि फिर आपका डिस्कनेक्ट हो जाएगा। स्टूडेंट्स will not be interested in coming into the classroom of the teachers who are not using these technologies and who are not engaging them. hook नहीं कर पा रहे ना आप अपने स्टूडेंट्स को। सो यस, लेकिन
देखिए प्रॉब्लम है
हमारा
इस
जो
टाइम पे।
ये वेबिनार था, हमने इस वेबिनार को सिर्फ इसलिए वो किया कि वी आर डूइंग आवर वर्क एट द टीचर एंड द स्टूडेंट लेवल, बट वो जो पेरेंट की बॉडी है, दिस वेबिनार इज फॉर देम टू अंडरस्टैंड कि आपका रोल बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, बिकॉज
बहुत
यू कैन
इंपॉर्टेंट
नॉट बी टोटली डिस्कनेक्टेड। अगर घर जाके बच्चा ये कहता है कि मैंने ये प्रॉम्प्ट चैट जीपीटी में डाल के चीजें निकालनी है, एट दैट टाइम यू कैन नॉट से लाइक अ यूट्यूब के पता नहीं इसमें क्या लिखा हुआ आ जाए। सो दे नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट दिस इज जस्ट अ डेटा which is going to act the way you are going to ask it the question and all that. Yes, but thank you very much, Wes. Thank you very much. It was so good to have you on board. We are going to get connected again because this is the series of webinar. और you see, मैं इन webinars के through जो है वो you see जो प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं उनसे बात करके उनका व्यू पॉइंट सामने लाने की ज्यादा जरूरत है। मे बी वी आर गोइंग टू आस्क यू टू कम टू द campuses as well and help our teachers to like look at and listen to what you are saying, because आप प्रैक्टिशनर हैं, आप ये काम कर रहे हैं, और टाइम नहीं है इस तरह से कि हम लोगों को कहें कि अभी लेट्स लुक एट द फिलोसफी ऑफ एआई। बात बहुत आगे जा चुकी हुई है। So
एग्जैक्टली
yeah,
बहुत आ गया है। तो अभी टीचर को बेसिकली एआई अडॉप्ट करना पड़ेगा, ये मस्ट है।
yeah,
पेरेंट्स और टीचर, स्टूडेंट कर
yes.
लेगा, स्टूडेंट बॉडी कर
स्टूडेंट कर
लेता
लेगा,
है।
बिल्कुल सही है,
हाँ,
बिल्कुल
स्टूडेंट कर
सही है।
लेते हैं, उनके लिए इशू नहीं है, बट ये नहीं तो ये हम कन्वेंशनल में ही मूव ऑन होते जाएंगे,
या
और ये फिर हमारे लिए प्रॉब्लमेटिक होगा। टीचिंग मेथोडोलॉजी बहुत चेंज हो गई है, बहुत चेंज हो गई है। इवन देखें, अगर आप मुझे देख लें तो डिप्टी हेड इतनी यंग एज में क्यों बनाते, उसकी रीजन क्या है? उसकी रीजन ये है कि कन्वेंशनल टेक्नोलॉजी तो मैं कभी फॉलो ही नहीं करता। इवन देखिए, स्टूडेंट का अटेंशन स्पैम 10 सेकेंड्स है,
राइट,
ठीक है?
बिल्कुल ऐसे ही।
10 सेकेंड, तो 10 सेकेंड में आपने वो 40 मिनट्स का जो लेक्चर है वो डिलीवर करना है।
दैट्स इट।
सो ये एक प्रॉब्लम में है, जो कि अब उसके लिए एक्टिव होना पड़ता है, और आपको बड़ा ट्राई करना है थोड़ा सा, और कुछ न्यू टर्म्स हैं, और स्टूडेंट को आइडिया हो कि सोशल मीडिया कौन सा मैं यूज कर रहा हूँ, उससे रिलेट करना। और आगे सोशल मीडिया ही बेसिकली आपकी बिजनेस है, और ये बिजनेस इंटेलिजेंस यूज हो रही है ऐसे। और अभी स्टूडेंट
राइट,
को आपका नेक्स्ट प्लेटफॉर्म यही होगा कि आप इसी सोशल मीडिया से अपनी अर्निंग कर रहे होंगे, और कर रहे हैं
राइट,
अभी, बट ये फुली डिपेंडेंट हो जाएगा, फुली
राइट,
डिपेंडेंट हो जाएगा।
राइट,
तो
राइट,
ये
राइट।
चीज है
वैस वैस,
बेसिकली।
थैंक यू वेरी मच
थैंक
सर।
यू सो मच।
थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर
श्योर,
टेकिंग आउट
इंशाल्लाह
टाइम। अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
विजिट करूंगा आपके कैंपस।
इंशाल्लाह, इंशाल्लाह जी, थैंक
ओके,
यू।
थैंक यू,
खुदा
अल्लाह
खुदा
हाफिज।
हाफिज।
Assalamualaikum. I'm Aisha Salman, and I'll be talking about how we will be integrating AI in our computer science curriculum. The first step is that the children are going to be introduced to what artificial intelligence is. They will learn about when people started working on artificial intelligence, what was the timeline of its development, how many years did it take to develop AI as we know it today, and who are some of the famous people who worked on the development of AI. Once they've learned about that, then they are going to learn about how AI is a part of our daily lives. What are the different features of AI which we are using without really knowing about it? They're going to learn about that. And then they are going to proceed on to using chat bots as we know them today, which is ChatGPT or Bard. They will start using those. They will be introduced to those. They'll learn how to give them prompts. And once they learn how to give them prompts, they are then going to learn in school how to do research by using ChatGPT, by using Bard, or different AI models. They'll also be learning about the different AI models which are available and which can be used. Then with the support of their teachers, they are going to learn how to use them in class. So they'll be working in group projects. They will make different, they will be given different tasks, and they are going to conduct research. They'll conduct research, gather information, and then make presentations and present them in the class. Once the children have done all this and they are competent, they have learned the skills of research using ChatGPT, then they are going to be given basic, simple homework tasks where they will be using ChatGPT or Bard to conduct research assignments at home. So that is how we will be introducing it in the school and using it at home as well. And we will keep on integrating artificial intelligence in our own curriculum so that the children learn and are kept abreast of the latest technologies. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the end of this insightful artificial intelligence integration into education webinar, I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you for joining us. I hope you found today's discussion inspiring and informative, and that you leave with a deeper understanding of how AI can transform education and our lives. I want to express my appreciation to our guest speakers, Mr. Joseph and Mr. Oes, for sharing their expertise and valuable insights with us. Your contributions have enriched this event immensely. Please stay connected with us for future events, resources, and opportunities through the SOAR platform to continue to explore the world of AI. Our commitment to knowledge sharing and growth remains unwavering. Thank you once again for being part of this webinar. Until we meet again, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI. Goodbye and take care.